Welcome to Bloodborne 101. My name is Johnny aka Ninnies and I will guide you through this dark long night. Rom the Vacuous Spider is a required boss on Moonside Lake just below Bergenworth. Rom's weaknesses are Bolt and Fire and Arcane. While Rom's physical resistance is low, only its head will resist the most damage. Rom's fight has about 3 phases. In phase 1, Rom will summon an arsenal of spiders to guard it, but Rom will not begin to fight back until its second phase. The tell for the next phase is Rom will curl up and begin teleporting away from you to both summon new spiders and start retaliating. You can, however, skip phase 2 if you deal enough damage to stun it in the escape attempt. While this skips the second phase entirely, it will not skip the spawning of the second set of spiders, so be mindful of that. In phase 2, Rom will gain 3 new moves, all of which are arcane based, so I recommend having good arcane resistance runes or armor. When it stands up, it will summon an arcane hail of rain upon you. You can avoid these by running to the side of Rom following the spell trail. The next 2 are area of effect or AoE attacks. If Rom rolls over, be mindful of the floor and dodge out of any glowing circles to avoid the attack. Lastly, if you see Rom's head and tail curl up, Rom will be releasing an arcane explosion. The final phase of Rom is the same as the second, only Rom will gain a flopping physical attack that may knock you down. While Rom is threatening in the second and third phase, it's actually the spider minions that will put you through the most trouble. Just like their master, they share the same heads that will resist all but about 10% of your damage, including elemental augmentation. The way to handle these minions is to attack their abdomen. There are between 13 to 15 spider minions that you'll have to take care of each phase change. Don't take these guys lightly though. They can easily take you out if you're not aware of how many are around you or if they are dive bombing you. Now that we've talked about the basic attacks and defenses of Rom, let's talk about the 2 best strategies for this boss. The first is the cautious approach, basically taking care of each minion before taking on Rom. While this is the safest route to take, it is tedious and becomes harder at the later stages of the fight. For this strategy, I recommend elimination of the first batch, then just thinning out the next few before taking Rom out. My favorite strategy is the all-in hit-and-run style. You go all in on the first phase, pushing Rom to the second phase by doing as much damage as possible, using bolt paper and low stamina draining weapons, as well as beast blood pellet to maximize the damage. Then, during phase 3, I avoid Rom's attacks and the spiders while performing a hit bail attack on Rom. It's rather risky, but it makes the fight much faster than what From Software expected you to do. If you faced your phobias and defeated the Great One, you'll be rewarded with 24,000 blood echoes and the Kin Coldblood grade 12, which contains 20k more blood echoes. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first half of this series. Welcome to the nightmare, and behold, a pale blood sky. Since this is the midpoint of the game and the walkthrough, I wanted to take a moment to talk about my hunters at this point. We already talked about the origins at which I had my 3 hunters start at, and I've been telling you through the description about what levels that they are and what weapons that they're using. So we're going to talk a little bit more about where they are at in this halfway point of the game, so that way you can see the kind of like the transformation from the beginning to the end. So first, let's talk about the average hunter. At blood level 60, I maintained an average stat bonus in vitality, strength, skill, and endurance, with slight increases to arcane for hunter tool use. While the weapon I'm using has great scaling with both strength and skill, it really takes more out of your endurance to maintain the heavy hitting. Overall, the average and equal build that this hunter kept started to fall short on damage once we got to the second half, even with such a strong scaling weapon. The second hunter, our skill and blood tinge girl, focused her stats on skill, blood tinge, and vitality, with a slight increase to endurance only for a small boost to total stamina. Using both the Rider Polish and the Chikage, the thrust and blood scaling damage from the Rider Polish was great all the way through the second half. Most enemies are weaker to thrust damage and more resistant to blunt, so this weapon is a solid choice. It also has some of the best blood damage, rivaling Evelyn at plus 10, her second weapon. The Chikage is also a strong weapon and even more dangerous transformed. Just remember to watch your health and learn the weapon's moveset. And lastly, our strength and arcane powerhouse, who focused into strength, arcane, and vitality. Later he would go on to greatly increase the endurance from more swings of the mighty Logarius wheel. During the second half of the game, there was little that stood a chance versus the combination of the transform wheel and the shocking to nitrous combination. Something that I noticed is that the wheel has a great synergy with the beast blood pellet, as you will see in later videos. In its transformed state, the heavy attacks will hit about 3 to 5 times each, increasing the beast bar to maximum faster than any other weapon that I recognize. While that is powerful, it is not without its downside. It's a slow weapon, so fast bosses will have an easier time escaping your attacks, so you have to resort to its normal state or the hunter axe. I will touch more on weapons after these boss videos are finished, so stay tuned for those. And also, thank you for checking out this post-episode hunter commentary. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope that you absolutely enjoyed this first half of this series. I've had a whole bunch of fun making it. Welcome to the nightmare, and behold, a pale blood sky.